Important contribution that Serbia has been doing to the European security and defense missions and operations. And coming from the Sahel, I know how much important are these missions. Another issue in which we have to engage and to deliver more is on the alignment of Serbia with the foreign and security policy, with European Union decisions and positions, including with restrictive measures, in line with the framework for accession negotiations. Many member states require a strong alignment of Serbia on this important part of being member of the European Union, which is the alignment in a common foreign and security policy. And finally, but not the least, we talk about the dialogue. And I had to say that I appreciated a lot the commitment by President Vučić to this Belgrade-Pristina dialogue facilitated by the European Union. I encourage President Vučić to continue on this path, to reach a comprehensive legally binding agreement on normalization of the relations between Serbia and Kosovo. We need the process to continue without delay and to produce results in spite of all difficulties that we know they are still there. And then we talk about our bilateral relations. I reiterated once again that the European Union stands by Serbia and its European perspective. We talk about this on the Foreign Affairs Council on May, and I will require member states to clarify clearly this European perspective, which is something at the core of everything in which we are dealing and talking about. A proof of this commitment is that in the last 14 years, the European Union has allocated almost 3 billion euros to Serbia to improve the life of their citizens, the functioning of the country, and to help with the reforms. And on those days, specifically today, I have to say that there is a specific program to which President Vučić allocates a lot of importance for good reasons, and I understand better these reasons after listening from him. This is the rail corridor from Belgrade to the borders with North Macedonia. The President of the Commission has already said that we stand ready to support it, and I think it's a very, very good news. And I welcome the decision by President Vučić on working with the European Union on these important projects. We will offer the best possible conditions for a major investment like this, which is, as President explained to me, a game changer from many different points of view, especially from the perception of what the European Union is and what the European Union represents for Serbian citizens, as I can say for the whole Balkans. All in all, I think it was a very good idea to invite you, President. It was good that you came. It has been very good to participate in these discussions. I think that we have got commitments on all the issues in which I've been mentioning, and I am completely sure that in the future it will improve a lot the European perspective of Serbia.
Thank you, High Representative. President, the floor is yours.
First of all, dear Joseph, thank you very much for your great hospitality, and I need to say that I've been to Brussels for hundreds of times, not tens of times, and this is one of the best visits that at least I have ever had to the capital, not only of Belgium but of EU as well, and considering, of course, the content of this visit. As High Representative has just emphasized, we discussed a number of issues of an utmost significance, either for Serbia, either for European Union. And first of all, I need to say, because of our own public audience, because of our people in Serbia, that we succeeded in the last 10 years to increase the level of trade turnover, of trade exchange for 2.5 times. It was 10 billion euros trade turnover in 2009. Today is 25 billion with EU countries. It showed the significance of EU member states for Serbian economy, Serbian politics, and the living standard of an ordinary people as well. What were the main topics? Number one, of course, dialogue with Pristina, as it has always been the case, which is we committed ourselves, as we did previously, now even with, dare to say, more dedicated approach that will be as much constructive as it is possible, and building up an atmosphere and creating better environment for possible compromise. And we're going to come to Brussels in a good faith, and we hope that we'll find the same determination on the other side, and that we can not only keep on working on this process, but that we can reach some substantive solutions in a period of time that comes. Number two, we discussed the rule of law issue as a part of our accession process to EU, and we discussed different issues, not only from chapters 23 and 24, we discussed all the other issues from that area, but also from the other areas, including some changes on our taxation and excise system, also some reforms in energy sector, and that's what we have already discussed, not only today, but a few days ago with the representatives of European delegation in Serbia, and I'm absolutely convinced that we're going to do a lot more than we used to, and that we're going to deliver much better results than we used to in the previous times. Of course, we expect fair and unbiased approach from European Union, and I think that is something absolutely regular to be expected from our side. Number three, it's an alignment of Serbia with EU declarations on different political issues that are coming out or popping up from different sides of the world, and of course I explained some difficulties we are facing with, and also connected with the issue of Kosovo, but we obliged ourselves, and we are determined to increase the level of declarations that we're going to make consent with the European Union, that we're going to align with. And of course there will be exceptions because of our difficult position, and as you can see, I didn't hide it, and I still don't hide it here in the presence of a High Representative. And there is something that I was waiting for, and they didn't announce it, and I have to say that we found a very fertile ground, and he was really jubilant to be helpful, and Ursula von der Leyen as well, and I'm profoundly grateful to her. And Mr. Borel was great on this issue. We discussed this issue with the delegation in Belgrade, but to tell you the truth, I was afraid to speaking up about it before we met today with the High Rep and with the President of European Commission, and we discussed that issue with Mr. Varhelyi as well, and we got their support. Now I can say to Serbian people that we're going to build together with the European Union high-speed railway between Belgrade and Niš, but also from Niš through Leskovac, Vranje to Tabanovce, Preševo, Tabanovce to North Macedonian border, which is going to be a game changer. I'm not ashamed to say this. It is a new Serbia, Serbia that will look 100% differently, that will create a lot of opportunities for the people coming back to their country, but also for the better transportation from Vienna, Munich, but Ljubljana and Zagreb as well, through Serbia to one-way its eastern branch to Istanbul and southern branch to Skopje, Thessaloniki, and Athens, and I didn't mention Sofia, that way to Istanbul, of course, and that will mean a lot, not speaking only about passengers transportation, but speaking about cargo, which is really of an utmost significance for us. And I couldn't hide my jubilance about it, because we all think, at least I think about my legacy, and that would be one of the most important things that we have recently done, and hopefully we're going to deliver on this. I cannot say when we're going to sign the contract, but I have already invited High Representative and Ursula von der Leyen to visiting Serbia and to see, we'll have very soon a groundbreaking ceremony for that peace highway from Niš to Pristina in our Toplica region, and then we'll also have, hopefully, all signatures put down on this contract on not only modernization, it's, as a matter of fact, a new construction of this highway between Belgrade and Niš and North Macedonian border. These are great news for Serbian citizens, and I'm proud to be a Serbian today in Brussels, proud to be the Serbian president that brings this great news. And why I'm saying this is because now I can say this, we are going to get at least 35% grants from European Union for this project. It's not only a part of mobility, it's not only a part of connectivity and networking, it's a part of green agenda as well. And we can gain from 35 up to 50% of grants. Even 35 is huge amount of money for us. If you can count it easily, it's from 600 up to 700 million just for that distance between Belgrade and Niš, speaking about million of euros. Thank you very much. I cannot be more thankful, cannot be more grateful. It obliges us to deliver in other areas, particularly in rule of law and everything else. But this is really the very great news for Serbian people. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to be joyful and jubilant today in Brussels. I'm sorry once again that I took a lot of your time. And thank you very much for this.
Hvala, thank you very much. So first question for the EU media. If you can put down your mask and speak to the microphone.
Yes, hello. Petra von Wulersdorf with Slovenian News Agency. I would like to ask you about this phantom non-paper on redrawing of the borders in the Western Balkans that provoked quite a lot of concerns and in the region, and also criticism that the EU has not denounced it clearly enough. So my question is first to you, High Representative. According to your knowledge, does such a non-paper exist? And if so, who wrote it? And even if it doesn't exist, the ideas about changing the borders, not only including not only Kosovo and Serbia, but also other countries in the region, do exist, are floating around. So can you tell us clearly, are there any discussions going on in the EU about this? And what is your opinion about this? And for President Vučić, what do you know about these ideas floating? And have you spoken about this to your colleague, Slovenian Prime Minister Janša, about these ideas? And another question, if I may, about the Washington Agreement. Is that agreement still valid in its entirety, or what's the view about that agreement now? Washington Agreement, the agreement about reached with Kosovo and Serbia in Washington during the times of President Trump.
Okay, President, thank you for letting me give the first answer. Well, I have not received this alleged document. You call it a phantom. Well, maybe it's a phantom. I haven't seen it. I heard about it. But you know, I think that if it is a non-paper, for me it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. But I want to use this opportunity to underline the continuous and unequivocal support of the European Union to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Bosnia and Herzegovina, well, as much as the other countries of the Western Balkans. And I think that we should concentrate on things that matters, things that work, on a constructive dialogue needed to move Bosnia and Herzegovina forward on its European path, and not to debate about ideas that distract us from our shared work on bringing the whole of the Western Balkans into the EU. This is the main purpose, one of the most important purposes of my mandate, to bring the whole of Western Balkans into the EU. And in order to clarify this, I will have a call maybe today or tomorrow, depending on the agenda of all of us, with the Bosnia and Herzegovina trio presidency, where I will also pass this message very clearly.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I haven't spoken to Prime Minister Janšev, that was your question, for quite a while. Last time we spoke to each other, it was regarding pandemic situation, and he was asking for something, I was asking for something. We had to move some people from Italian-Slovenian border to Serbia. That was the main topic of our discussion last time, and it was a long time ago. Unfortunately, didn't have a chance to speak to him in the recent period of time. Unlike many others, I'm always open for any kind of debates, and I don't think that we live in a time of medieval inquisition, but we are fully focused on our economy, on our EU accession path, on our economic progress, and that's what we pay attention on, and that's what we emphasize in our work. And of course we support integrity of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I assess that thousands of times, and also the integrity of Republika Srpska within Bosnia and Herzegovina as well, which is our obligation due to Dayton Peace Accord signed 26 years ago. And I haven't seen any papers. No one have ever presented it to me, and I cannot lie about it just to condemn someone that was allegedly doing something. I didn't see it, and no one have ever mentioned such on paper to me. I don't know for the others, but with me no one discussed it. Speaking about Washington Agreement, here our job is to provide into deeds everything that we have already agreed on in Brussels Agreement signed on 19th of April 2013, and these are our expectations. Speaking about Washington Agreement, we hope that the other side will also deliver on these issues, although so far we couldn't see any reactions from their side. We are ready to deliver if that is all about Belgrade-Pristina relationship, speaking about mini-Schengen, speaking about non-applying or non-submitting for the candidacy status within several different organizations, institutions, and it's about non-recognition and revoking recognition campaign for a year at least. We didn't break it so far. We didn't violate the rules of Washington Agreement so far, but we'll see what the other side will do. But what is of an utmost importance, it's a dialogue process under the auspices of the European Union, and we hope that we'll be able in making good progress with Pristina on this issue, which is of an utmost importance for both sides on our EU path, which is important for us regarding the living standard of our people, regarding the overall atmosphere in the region, and also in bringing back many Serbian people from abroad to their homeland. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Next question, Serbian media.
Marina Maksimovic, Tanya News Agency. High Representative, for your question, you talked about increased speed for Serbia accession. Do you see Serbia making a big step this year, meaning opening new clusters? And on the other side, if EU is ready, as you say, and Serbia is also ready for the dialogue, what can you as a main facilitator in the dialogue do to bring Pristina back to the table in Brussels? And for you, President, you said that this is one of the best visits to Brussels so far. Do you mean it only mainly because of this infrastructure project? Or maybe there are some good news or your vision of the future of EU integration for Serbia or the dialogue? Thank you.
Well, we are doing our best in order to make the dialogue to continue. And we are going to have a meeting and a discussion with the new Prime Minister of Kosovo, which was not exactly new because it was already Prime Minister when we started. And I hope that we are going to have a new session of this dialogue on the scheduled date on the 11th of May. I have nothing specific to offer, but just to explain how important it is to continue this dialogue, because it's the only way of looking for a solution that could be legally binding and acceptable for both parts. Only the European perspective can be the strong incentive for this dialogue to succeed. And about opening of new chapters, well, President Vučić has been talking with my colleague, the Commissioner Borela. I think that the wording of opening chapters, closing chapters, is something that the public opinion understands less and less, because it's a technocratic or bureaucratic way of talking. I just want to remind that accession is a merit-based process. It is ultimately for member states to decide on the opening of clusters, and it's also depending on the pace of negotiation defined by Serbia's progress in the implementation of reforms, in particular on the rule of law and the normalization of relations with Kosovo, and also on the alignment with the common foreign and security policy, because if you want to be a member of a club that shares a common foreign and security policy, you have to share it. You cannot have a divergent policy on such an important issue. About that, I think it's more important that the number of chapters that are being opened, because they can be opening forever. The important thing is the will of advancing on these three issues: the dialogue, the rule of law, and the alignment with the CFDP policy.
Yep. I think that I'm the person who visited this beautiful city so far the biggest number of times among all the European so-called leaders, officials, whatever you call it. And I cannot boast myself, I cannot brag myself of having always the very best time, of course, but there were great visits and good job that we did here. But today I can say that it is a very special day for us, because it's not only, as you emphasized that way, it's not only about infrastructural project. It's about changing overall atmosphere. It's about restarting something. It's about bringing more confidence and trust in between each other. It's about creating a new atmosphere, political and economic environment. And speaking about it, you might say infrastructural project. It's not just an infrastructural project. It's a project that belongs to green agenda. It's a project that belongs to bigger number of foreign direct investors. Because when you have this kind of railway throughout Serbia, from north to south, from north to east, from west to east, then you can count on more FDIs. Then we can really becoming champions of attracting FDIs not for a year or two, but for a decade. That is of much bigger importance than it is just one railway. That's why I'm really joyful, and I said to Ursula and to Joseph, to our high rep host, I said to him that today I'm comparing to all my visits super happy. And it's not an expression that I use very often, as you know. But I'm also satisfied, it's not only that, I'm satisfied with the commitment that we have just taken, but also the dedicated approach regarding Serbia on its path or remaining on its EU path, and we expect an acceleration of the process. That's what we expect, and that's what you hear it for the first time, I think, in the last 2-3 years. From my side, I was not insisting on this. I was not even asking anyone about new chapters, new clusters, and everything else. Now, we expect that, we believe in that, and we know that we need to invest really a very hard work on it, and I believe that we're going to do it, and then we're going to accomplish very tangible and very good results for the benefit and for the sake of our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Hvala lepa. Thank you, High Representative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Hvala vama. I fantastičan vam je srpski.
Hvala.
Hvala.
And thank you, colleagues, for being here. Have a good day.